Hey everyone, it's K1. We're back in my home studio and we're going to do another sample breakdown. This time we're going to do Rick Ross's White Lines, which was co-produced by Rowan, another Milwaukee-based producer. And I'm going to show my portion of the beat, which was of course the sample. I'm going to go down each track and show you how I recorded, arranged, mixed, and try to provide some gems here and there as far as when it comes to recording analog synths and how to come up with ideas on the fly. So sit tight, and I hope you enjoy the video. Welcome back. So we're doing a screen capture this time to kind of show you guys a more in-depth detail look at my process and the way that I arrange samples specifically for White Lines. I guess just to dive right in, we can start with, or you know what, I'll play you the full sample just to kind of give you an idea of what we're working with. So when I first made this sample, I was in the type of mood that I wanted to make something luxurious, something that felt like a summer day. So right away you kind of think of Rick Ross, and I've always been a fan of Ross's production and him as an artist. So making samples and making beats, I've like multiple times I've had him in mind. So definitely had like a Ross vibe going when I was composing this. And I think when I first started to make it, I was deciding whether or not to go with like a piano vibe, a Rhodes vibe, but I ended up going completely analog synth. So from down to the lead, the brass pad, the bass line, and like the leads, it's all synth. So I remember the first element that I added, or that I started out with, was this pad. I'll play it for you dry. And for this I used the Prophet. And I remember just recording in the sound and throwing on, I don't know why the hell I added 2 EQs, but I did. See what they look like. They're not doing a whole lot, but I added it for a reason, I guess. Then I filtered it with the Fat Filter Simplon, I think it's called. I love this filter. And to kind of beef it up, I added Decimort. I use Decimort a lot, so this is a gem. It's like what it says right here, a high quality big crusher. But it adds so much warmth and like beef to my sounds, and I use it a lot, especially on drums. So I added that, and then I automated a filter for the intro. So you'll notice that it's kind of filtered out in the beginning, and then it opens up as it goes into the drop. Normally I would actually automate the actual filter inside, but for whatever reason for this one I just automated the this little knob here. It kind of gives you like more of like, it gives you a different sound. I'm not going to say that it's better, but I think just for the sake of making a filter open up fast, I just automated this. So that plays out throughout the entire sample. And then I added in what I would say is the most memorable part, or at least one of the most memorable parts of the sample, are the chords that I played on top. It's like a lead pad. It's hard to describe, but it's a patch that I queued up on the Prophet, and I recorded it with reverb already on the sound. I wish I would have done it dry, but it already has reverb in the actual patch. But I'll play that for you now. And for that, I think I took the low end out, brightened it up a tiny bit. I think I was playing with reverb, but because it already had it in it, I didn't even bother. I just turned it off, but I left it on there just in case. But it's not in the final. It's not in the original song or anything. It's just sitting in the mixer. I'll play that with the original, or that the first initial sound. So then on to the next sound. I added a effect. So this, I do this a lot with the Moog. Let's see if I can find that. So synth effect. It's pretty straightforward. I think I might have printed it. It had a timeless reverb or timeless delay, which is Fat Filter Timeless, and then just the dry Moog. So that created kind of like a spacey effect that I use as a drop. And that leads in to the drop right here. It's just a little sparkly extra that I added just to kind of make it less boring. And then the bass line. So for the bass, again, I just used the Moog. I added Decimort to kind of give it that crunchy feel. And then the VC2A. I love this compressor. I use this on bass a lot. Kind of levels everything out. Especially with the Moog because it's kind of jumping around a lot. It's like a punchy synth bass. So I'll play that for you. And notice that with the Decimort, I kind of get like a loud sound without it even being loud on the meters. It's still pretty low, but it feels loud. With everything else. Ultimate, I mean, like, I feel like this really adds like that funky vibe, and it really sets the tone. So then for the next sound was this lead. This was a mixture of the Prophet and the Moog. I'm trying to think if this one was the, yeah, so this one right here was the Moog. And it was the original synth lead that I replayed and then I filtered out to kind of give the original lead, which is this one, a little bit more body. This was a lot brighter, a lot sharper, and this one kind of like makes it buttery and smooth on the lower side. Lots of reverb, lots of delay, and it kind of adds like that spacey vibe. So I'll play it in context. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention also for the bass, I added this this slide. And that just kind of helps to lead into the main bass line. Just backtracking a little bit. So we can move on to the next sound, which I would call the verse of the sample. And to kind of separate this section from this section, I added like a string synth. Again, I use the Fat Filter, the Simplon. Take out some of that brightness. And with everything else, it sounds like this. It kind of provides like a nice layer for someone to either sing or rap. In this case, Rick Ross was able to do his thing on top of this. And then about halfway through into the verse, you hear the lead. The lead section along with this section here, which is my actual voice. I'm not much of a singer. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I am a professional singer, but I do enjoy adding layers, just to kind of put it in the background, to kind of add a little bit of character and texture. I've done this multiple times. I've done it for the Kanye West on God. I've done it for a few other samples, and for sure in this one, and I feel like it really helped. So I'll play everything else with it. And for the vocals, let's see, I have the first layer, vocal 1. Dry, it sounds like this. EQ, stereo shaper, vintage exciter. This one has a lot of brightness. This plugin is fire. Reverb, and the VC2A compressor. Helps to really brighten it up and kind of level things out. For the second layer of vocals, we're looking at RC20, which is the most overused plugin ever, but back when I made this, it was pretty cool to use. EQ, reverb. So this one has more of like a spacey sound to kind of support the first recording of the vocal. I think I played with stereo shaper, but I ultimately ended up turning it off. And then all together, it sounds like this. And then to kind of finish things off on the master channel, I just used an EQ slightly, like very, like barely any, brought in some of like the low end or like mid low, and then brighten it up a tiny bit. And then I added the Abbey Road vinyl again, just to kind of give it like that old vintage vibe, a little bit of dust. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This sample when I first made it, my intentions was to just have it on a sample pack, and this actually did get released. And a few months later, I got picked up by Rowan. Rowan ended up making a beat out of it, and it turned into Rick Ross White Lines, which was pretty mind-blowing when I first found out about that placement. You know, I think as a producer, everyone wants to work with their favorite artist, and Rick Ross was definitely one of my favorite artists, for sure. So I'm very blessed to have that opportunity. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this breakdown. I got more of these coming soon. If you guys have any questions, you guys have any requests for any type of videos that you guys want to see, comment below, just let me know. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.